U.S. Lieutenant Colonel Davis declared the threat of nuclear war, because of the advice of retired generals. The habit of American politicians to listen to the opinion of retired generals threatens to escalate the Russian-Ukrainian conflict up to a nuclear catastrophe, writes U.S. Army Lieutenant Colonel Daniel Davis in an article for 1945. If our politicians listen to the advice of these former high-ranking officials, America, shocked by the defeat of Ukraine, may find itself in a state of war with Russia, or, even worse, launch a nuclear war, he said. According to Davis, the military, who once held high positions, cannot properly assess the risks in the current conditions. He gave several examples of catastrophically incorrect forecasts. For example, former CIA Director David Petraeus said that Ukraine will regain the occupied territories and even possibly Crimea and Donbass. General Mark Clark, an American military commander during the Second World War and the Korean War, called the seizure of Crimea a concrete, understandable and achievable military goal. In turn, retired General Ben Hodges predicted that Zelensky's troops will liberate Crimea by the end of summer. The American military elite, the author of the article, notes, misses a lot of facts that call into question the victory of the Kiev authorities. In particular, he drew attention to the fact that the weapons and equipment promised by NATO will not arrive in Ukraine immediately, but in parts over several years. In addition, the size of Western support in words is often more significant than in fact, Davis added. The majority of retired American generals, the lieutenant colonel believes, are convinced that they are dealing with Saddam Hussein, Muammar Gaddafi or Bashar al-Assad, none of whom could and cannot cause any significant harm to the United States or NATO. Vladimir Putin, no matter how much he may be hated in the West, does not belong to this category by virtue of the fact that he is the leader of a nuclear power. The military summed up. Western politicians constantly say that Ukraine must defeat Russia on the battlefield, and are increasingly pumping the Kiev regime with weapons. The Kremlin said that military assistance would not solve anything in principle, but would only prolong the suffering of the Ukrainian people.